Hello everybody. The Warriors pulled off a huge upset without Steph and without Wiggins. I wanted to focus on James Wiseman's first really impactful minutes. The Warriors had Wiseman matched up with Clarke, really solid player. This play is a stagger screen for Memphis. Morant at the top gets one screen, two screens. Wiseman is in charge of the man at the end, and so he's got to be ready to jump out if it looks like Morant is going to turn the corner. Clarke slips the screen ultra early, which saves Wiseman from having to make the read. Kuminga forcing Morant to go down this line. Wiseman looks like he's got this under control, so Morant gets into his hovercraft. Wiseman contesting, Kuminga contesting on the side here. Jerome is hidden behind all the giants over there, but his man is totally open in the corner, and Morant ejects this pass to the corner. Jerome does try to recover, but this is going to be an open three. Wiseman landed after his contest of Morant, and he's immediately getting a body on Clarke. He boxes him out. Wiseman has inside position and gets this tough rebound. Wiseman is running the floor hard, which means that Clarke has to pick him up. This becomes important because Clay ends up running by his man. Clarke can't be the one to rotate because he's got to stay next to the enormous dunking machine, Wiseman. So Williams is rotated all the way over from the far corner. Jerome seems to realize he is open. Clay seems to realize that Jerome is open, and he throws the pass. The ball is deflected, but unfortunately it bounces right off of Clarke's fingertips right to Jerome. Okay, Memphis again attacking Wiseman in the pick and roll. Clarke setting the pick. Wiseman is dropped back so he can contain Morant if he goes around either way on screen. Kuminga does fight his way through the screen, but not very hard because Morant is a career 33% shooter. The Warriors will definitely take their chances. I like that Wiseman is already trying to box out. Clarke does do a nice spin move to get around Wiseman, but Wiseman keeps fighting for position, and he ends up riding Clarke towards the baseline, so Clarke won't be in good position for this rebound. Wiseman sets a screen. It'd be nicer if it was much closer to Poole, but it is still enough that the defender has to go around Wiseman. They're just going to put the defender on Poole's back. That means Clarke has to contain. Because Kuminga had posted up, there's not really anywhere for Wiseman to roll. This is the downside of playing Kuminga and Wiseman in the same lineup. Just enough of a pick to put Jerome behind the play. Morant now is attacking Wiseman, who's moving laterally pretty well. Kuminga stabs in. It takes a whole team to guard Morant. Wiseman has to switch and contest this play. That leaves Clarke free to go to the basket to rebound. At least Wiseman makes Ja miss this shot, but the ball bounces just right on the side. Nice play by Clarke. Horns follow play. Shooters in the corners. Wiseman first setting a screen for Clay. The ball comes to Clay. Wiseman is going to follow by setting a screen. Sometimes the best thing you can do is show up and don't do anything stupid, and that puts him in position for Jaren Jackson to gift this foul. It's a fake pick and roll on this side. This screen is going to come up. Wiseman's also looking at this play unfolding because he might have to give help if there's a driver, and so his man Clarke is just going to sneak away and set a pick over here, and the ball's going to whip across, and we're going to have an instant pick and roll on the opposite wing. Wiseman does pick up on this happening. He is a little bit late getting into the play. Kuminga, who gets nailed. Wiseman has to switch to contain Morant. Morant pulls out and says, let's try an ISO. Kuminga is now switched on to Clarke. The Warriors try to funnel drivers so that they end up attacking right through the strong side post over here. Then they send a help defender to meet the driver. And Jerome is pointing to Kuminga saying, I want you to be the one to pick up Morant. It would be a really tough shot for Morant to get a floater over these two long-limbed defenders. Clarke sees that Jerome is covering him and this weak side corner shooter, so space is out. Jerome here is leaving apparently an open passing lane to the corner. I think he's trying to bait Morant to throw this pass, and you'll see him even lean over anticipating the pass, but Morant does not throw the pass. But I think Morant had to change his mind at the last second from throwing into the corner, and he tries to throw it to Clarke, and there's this weird seeing eye grounder that just gets through the entire team. Wiseman thinks he's got barbecue chicken here. He's got inside position on Williams, but this other defender is sinking in so that there's not really a way to get the pass to him. That leaves Kuminga as the open man. Jerome reads that pretty quickly, and he whips this long skip pass over to Kuminga. Kuminga's defender closes out. It's always easy to second guess when you have things in slow motion. Here Wiseman has sealed off Williams. Probably the best thing to do would be just to stay there. He'd be in really good position for any kind of offensive rebound or a lob over the top. Kuminga goes by the closeout. That forces Williams to stay here and help on Kuminga. If Wiseman had stayed behind here in a dunker spot, then Kuminga could have thrown anything in this side of the hemisphere and Wiseman could have gone up and alley-ooped it. But instead, Wiseman runs out of the open space. And so if Kuminga could have teleported this ball over to Wiseman, then I guess Wiseman could have had a dunk, but alert defense to come over here and recover. And so Kuminga just has to throw up a prayer, and the prayer is answered when he gets fouled. Okay, more picking on Wiseman in the pick and roll. Brandon Clarke screening Clay. Tyus Jones gets around. Wiseman is in drop position. Pretty good movement. He contains his drive. Clay is catching up. It does help that the Memphis spacing is pretty awkward. We got Morant over here keeping his defender in the lane, and then Jerome over here seems completely fine leaving Ziaire Williams. Ziaire Williams is shooting less than 30% from 3, so the Warriors are just giving him the green light to shoot that 3. Jones just hits the eject button. Clarke, though, has pretty deep position. He does a little spin move. Wiseman just sits there. Sometimes that's the best defensive play. Just go ask Kevon Looney. And Clarke says, well, I guess Wiseman is still there and still 7 foot tall with long arms. So he just ejects the ball to Konchar. He's going to set an instant screen on Moody for Konchar. Wiseman is going to remain in drop position. Clarke insta-ghosting the screen. His driver's coming at him, but then Clarke is also threatening to go by him. So what does Wiseman do? And Wiseman ends up staying with Clarke, which is the right thing to do. This is all under control. Not only is Moody staying with Konchar, but Kuminga just never left the weak side low post, and he's just hanging around waiting to eat any drive that comes by. You can see Wiseman loading up full body to go up to block this shot, which is probably unnecessary because, again, Moody is right there and Kuminga is waiting to swat this from behind. It's probably best if Wiseman will just box out Brandon Clarke. So it works out all right. So Kuminga comes swooping in from behind and just nails this ball. And then Wiseman comes in for seconds and also nails the ball. I don't know, maybe he got his arm too, and the ball goes flying off of Konchar's hand out of bounds. This is another clever Grizzlies play. Back screen on Jerome. Williams dives to the basket. Wiseman wisely switches. Otherwise, this would be an easy pass for layup if Wiseman had followed his man out. But Wiseman is here. Good switch. Here Morant is counterattacking in early offense. Wiseman hustles to get back into the play. Jerome makes Morant slow down just a little bit. Just enough time for Wiseman to come into the play here. Rotation from Moody and Wiseman right next to Morant. Just by being a big body here, it doesn't matter that he's in this weird angle. Morant just doesn't expect to feel him there, and it throws him enough for him to travel. If Wiseman can keep on doing that, he's going to get spot minutes. If he can come in, be a big rebounder, and intimidate a little bit around the rim, maybe he doesn't need to go for as many blocked shots, but just threaten it, and then just rotate on defense to the correct positions. That's all the Warriors really need. They don't need him to score 30 points. Just by being himself on offense and being in the right spots, he's going to cause defenders to stick to him, and he's just going to run into putbacks and alley-oops. Call it low expectations, but sometimes it's important just to show up to your job, be in the right place at the right time, and don't drop the ball or throw it away or travel or do any other bad turnovers. If he can keep it clean and simple, then we might see more and more of Wiseman as the year goes on. Time for a quick celebration audit. Jerome open in the corner. He gets a tip pass. Let's see, is anyone doing premature celebration? Doesn't look good, but Dante DiVincenzo here is going to get up in time for the premature celebration. Nice work. He's up even as the ball has just left Ty Jerome's hand. And this is low key, but Steph with the early celebration, he puts his hand out in anticipation of the three. And when it goes through, is Ty Jerome going to reward the early faithful since Ty Jerome is right there? Dante raising his hand for the high five. He's gearing up. And is Ty Jerome going to let him down? Jerome coming through, even though he's on a two-way. That's the awareness of a pro. He picks up the aggressive high five from DiVincenzo. And now, what about Steph Curry here with the premature celebration? Still got his hand out, waiting for Ty Jerome to run by and dap him up as he goes back on defense. And will Ty come through? Well, he completely left Steph hanging. Steph is still holding out the hand in quiet desperation. Well, Steph, you tried. Honestly, Steph is still working off a lot of karma from the famous Madison Square Garden game where he scored 54 points and he left Draymond hanging dramatically on national TV. So Steph still got a lot of karma to work through.